When we talk about technological advancement, we usually think about things like smartphones, tablets, and laptops, and things like that, the consumer stuff. And this weekend, though, I was at the Pantages Theater out in Los Angeles, and I was watching the musical Anastasia. So Anastasia, for those of you who don't know, in the 1990s, there was an animated film, and the musical is an adaptation of it for Broadway. And so it's been touring around the country, and on a last minute whim, we went to go watch it last weekend. And while I was there, I was just expecting a musical performance. I've been to so many musicals and performances and performance art theaters throughout my life that I just expected like a normal one, normal set design. And when that curtain lifted, it wasn't even like a normal curtain anymore. It was a projector based one, which a lot of productions have done recently. But when that curtain lifted, the minute that show started, I was blown away. Not necessarily by the music or the acting, but by the technology in that show. So I've been on stage. I've also worked in the theater for many years, and I've seen so many things, set designs and things like that were awesome. But what I saw on stage was something absolutely new to even me. So what I mean by that is, and there might be minor spoilers, so if you're looking forward to seeing Anastasia, I'm not really going to spoil the story. Everybody kind of already knows it's a historical thing. But in terms of the set design and some of the scenes that might happen, I might be describing that. So spoiler alert, if you are worried about that stuff, maybe watch this video after you watch the musical. But what I wanted to say was the minute the curtain went up, the first thing you see is this beautiful, beautiful winter's night inside this mansion, this castle that Anastasia is a royal family, right? So the first scene, you're in this beautiful castle for like a Christmas party or some sort of winter event. And you are in a ballroom with a bunch of people dancing, and the snow is just falling in the background, and you're just saying, okay, well, that's standard stuff. Set design, you can probably have set pieces left and right, make it look like an indoor area. But the minute you see the set design, you're like, wow, okay, something's different. The entire backdrop of the stage was snow falling through a window view, like a huge pillar of windows. And that itself is not too crazy. I've seen productions where, the projector is projecting something on the back instead of just having a drop down like they used to have it. And I was like, whoa, okay, something feels different here compared to the other set designs of things I've seen. And, the recent plays I've seen or musicals I've seen, I saw SpongeBob on Broadway when I went to New York last year, which is absurd. Like, you think SpongeBob on Broadway, but I saw that. I saw Lion King. I forgot what I saw last year, too. I've seen a bunch of stuff recently, and none of it was like that. Even the crazy stuff like SpongeBob and Lion King, which you would think would be technologically advanced because the theme of that stuff is hard to just have a human being in front of the camera. In front of on stage. But this one just absolutely blew my mind with what they were doing. And so I started thinking, the film guy inside of me and also the tech enthusiast, what was different about this? Why was this different? Because I've seen projectors hit the backdrop before, but why was this different? One, it was animated, of course, snow dropping. And two, I realized this one felt different because of the foreground. What was great about that is not only did the projector project onto the background, there were two pillars on both sides in the front that also had projections on it. So in a way, it added depth to the show. And I also had really great seats. Lita found some really great tickets. We were in the third row. So this is the closest I've ever sat in a theater, especially at Pantages. So we got a really great deal. We were in the center in the third row. These are like play reviewer style seats, like right in the front. It was great. And this is the first time I really felt immersed in a musical or a play. Like you're sucked in by the story, you're sucked in by the music, you're sucked in by the acting, but never have I really been sucked in by the set design. Because let's be honest, as good as set designs are, like for example, I saw Aladdin, I believe last year when it was also at Pantages, and Agrabah was cool and the set design was great, but I didn't feel like I was in Agrabah. I didn't feel like you would in the movie. And in a film, even though it's two-dimensional, it's just a flat screen, you felt kind of immersed sometimes, especially when you're in the theater watching it. This musical, I felt like I was there. I felt like I was in Russia. I felt like I was in the building that Anastasia was in that opening scene where they're dancing. And it was shocking. And as the musical went on, this is where I was absolutely blown away. There was a chase scene. So spoiler alert, there was a chase scene in a musical. A moving vehicle chase scene in a musical. And I felt more intuitive, more involved in that scene as an audience than I ever have watching a movie in a theater. And, we see chase scenes in theaters all the time. But seeing a chase scene, a vehicle chase scene on a performance art theater for the first time like this, it was absolutely magnificent. So the way they did it was the projector was blasting on the backdrop a moving scene. So it was basically a long road and trees were passing us by. So that was the scene. Then we actually had a physical set of it was a train that was rotating and physically shifting on a track on stage, which we see all the time. There's a lot of musicals nowadays and plays that have moving tracks, moving vehicles that spin around. That's a normal thing. But when you surround that with two pillars of trees on the side in the foreground and also have that in the background with the road moving, oh my gosh, that immersion, that feeling, it was terrific. This was unimaginable. There was, set designs have always been luxurious and grand. And I remember when Phantom of the Opera hit Las Vegas and they built that stage specifically for that musical with the whole chandelier dropping. That was so cool. That was amazing. And at the time, I thought that was one of the best set designs I've ever seen. But even then, stuff like that, great set designs, none of this compares to what I saw on Saturday with Anastasia. And that is because of technology. That is because of the projectors. So during intermission, I did a little bit of homework, and I found out that Anastasia was one of, I think, 3 new musicals, this new wave of musicals using this particular set design technology. So while we do have projectors hitting the backdrops, we have never really seen something like this immersiveness, utilizing some theatrical, film style techniques to the performance art theaters. And what I mean by that is there was a scene where Anastasia and her party reaches a specific location that they're going to, and it was a nice musical uplifting scene, which when you're usually in what was it, a traditional set design, you listen to the music and you see the characters on a stationary backdrop and you feel a certain thing because of the song. What this did was the backdrop was moving. We had camera sweeps, camera pans, or it felt like a crane shot in a film. If you see like a cinematic experience in a film, there's a crane shot going into the sunset, or you see a drastic pan with the wind blowing on a tree. There was that when an actress was singing her dramatic scene there, and I have to tell you, it was awesome. And this is also one of the detractors. So I was reading online, some people didn't like this particular technology utilized in the theater because they felt it was distracting. And I do understand that perspective as, like a natural contrarian. I look at things from every side of every issue. I do see that. I personally was paying more attention to that backdrop and looking at that motion because I was so amazed with it than I was paying attention with my ears and my eyes to the actress who was singing that song. And I do understand how people, especially older people who are more used to the older set designs that they've been accustomed to, would feel like that's not the purpose of performance arts. Performance art is brought to life not by the set design. Set design is a part of it, but it's brought to life by the actors, brought to life by the performance, by the dance routines, by the delivery of the speech. So I do understand why people think this is an unnecessary thing, but in terms of overall production value and how you feel as an audience, this was absolutely amazing. I've been saying amazing, amazing, amazing. I've been impressed with a lot of technology on this channel. We've seen some pretty cool things, but what we see is what we get now. We expect that. I did not expect this. This is the first time in any medium recently that I've come across that I did not expect this. It was pleasantly shocking. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I had been around the theater all my life. As recently as last year, I went to like 3 musicals last year. And I was genuinely shocked when I saw this. So I am actually really looking forward to seeing more of this type of set design used in future plays. Just think about the endless possibilities when you utilize this particular technology with the performance arts. We already have terrific actors and actresses and performances on those stages. When you use this to heighten those emotions that those actors give you, oh my gosh, I have a feeling this is a revitalization of the performance arts. So I highly recommend checking out Anastasia. It's touring around the country, I believe, for a little longer. And just checking out what I was talking about, this weird new technology that I wasn't aware of for sure. It is awesome. If you are really interested in TVs or just performance arts, this is a great merging of the two categories, and it was just fantastic for me. So once again, I'm Alex of Tech. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if there are other forms of technology that has advanced that we don't really pay attention to on an everyday basis. And I would love to make videos to discuss more about this if people watch this at all. But otherwise, it's just a guilty pleasure video for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.
And that's it. Be sure to subscribe here. Hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our videos, and check out our other videos right here. Until next time,